All right, let's dive deep into Daniel chapter 5. A story, really, that's packed with intrigue, drama, and a powerful message about the limits of earthly power.
Definitely a timeless story.
Our source today is MCS Daniel 5, and they take a unique approach, I think, to exploring this ancient text.
Yes.
It's not like your typical academic commentary.
No, it was more engaging.
It encourages you to actually take notes directly on the website.
Oh, interesting.
And even points you to a YouTube podcast for further discussion.
So they are trying to kind of bring it into the modern world.
Yeah, it's a really interesting approach.
Yeah, make it more accessible.
So the chapter opens with this scene that's both lavish and unsettling.
Right.
Babylon is under siege, but inside the palace, King Belshazzar is throwing this massive feast for 1,000 of his lords.
1,000.
Wine's flowing, music's playing. I mean, it's a scene of just pure decadence and revelry.
Talk about out of touch.
But then Belshazzar does something truly shocking.
Yeah, he really pushes it.
He orders the gold and silver vessels that were taken from the temple in Jerusalem
Right.
to be brought out and used for drinking.
Into drinking.
And it's not just a casual act of disrespect,
Yeah.
knowing his grandfather Nebuchadnezzar's experience with divine judgment.
Exactly.
This feels like a deliberate provocation.
A blatant display of hubris.
It really makes you wonder what was going through his mind.
You have to wonder.
Was it a drunken impulse?
I mean, maybe.
Or a calculated act of defiance?
Could be.
Or perhaps a desperate attempt to, assert control in the face of impending doom?
All of the above, maybe.
The source seems to suggest that it's a combination of all of these factors.
It
right?
really does seem that way.
Belshazzar is surrounded by enemies. His kingdom is literally crumbling, and he's trying to drown out his fears with this extravagant display of power and wealth.
Yeah.
But by desecrating these sacred objects, he's crossing a line.
Yeah, he's tempting fate.
He's essentially inviting a reaction from a power he doesn't fully comprehend.
And that reaction comes quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Swiftly and dramatically.
Right in the middle of the feast, fingers of a human hand appear, and they begin writing on the palace wall.
Spooky.
The source describes Belshazzar's reaction so vividly.
Oh, I bet.
His face turns pale, his legs tremble, and fear just grips him.
Wow.
It's a sudden and just terrifying shift in mood,
Yeah.
from celebration to sheer terror.
Talk about a mood killer.
It's a powerful image, I think, of how God sometimes gets our attention, right?
Sometimes you need a wake-up call.
We might ignore the subtle whispers,
The gentle nudges.
but when those don't work, sometimes a more dramatic intervention is required.
Yeah, God's not afraid to make a statement.
I think we've all had those moments in life where something shakes us to our core.
Mm.
It might be a sudden illness, a near-miss accident,
Yeah, those close calls.
or even just a moment of profound clarity that reveals the fragility of our own existence.
That can really stop you in your track.
Yeah, and the source points out that these moments, while unsettling, can also be incredibly clarifying.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They can shake us out of our complacency and force us to confront the bigger questions we've been putting off.
Sometimes we need that push.
In Belshazzar's case, this moment of reckoning comes in the form of this cryptic message on the wall.
Right.
Desperate for answers, he summons his wise men,
He needs help, yeah.
exorcists, astrologers, diviners,
The best of the best.
offering them riches and power if they can just decipher the writing.
High stakes.
But they're all stumped.
Every one of them.
Their worldly wisdom, their knowledge of the stars and spirits, it's useless in this situation.
Totally useless. I mean, they hit a wall, literally.
Literally. Yeah.
Their expertise, which usually, commands respect and awe,
Okay.
is suddenly powerless
Totally.
in the face of the unknown.
Yeah, and the source makes a point of highlighting this contrast.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it's saying that sometimes our reliance on, worldly knowledge can actually blind us to deeper truths.
Right. Like we get stuck in our ways.
Yeah.
And we can't see outside the box.
Exactly.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
The source implies that there are different types of knowledge,
Mhm.
different ways of understanding the world,
Yeah.
and sometimes the answers we seek
Yeah.
can only be found by looking beyond the realm of logic and reason.
I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It makes me think about those moments in my own life where I faced a problem that just seemed insurmountable.
Sure.
You try every logical solution, consult with experts, exhaust every avenue I can think of,
Right.
and yet the answer it remains elusive.
It's like a brick wall.
And then sometimes the solution just comes from a completely unexpected source.
Really?
This flash of insight that seems to come out of nowhere.
Wow.
It's like a different part of my brain. A
Interesting.
different way of knowing has suddenly kicked in.
And it's those moments of intuition, of inspiration that the source seems to be pointing towards.
Yeah.
And in this story, it's the Queen Mother who embodies this different way of knowing.
Okay.
Observing the chaos and desperation, she remembers someone who might be able to help Daniel.
Daniel.
Known for his connection to the Spirit of God, his ability to interpret dreams and visions, his reputation for wisdom and discernment.
He's the one everyone seems to have forgotten about.
Yeah, kind of pushed aside.
It's interesting that the Queen Mother, who isn't necessarily a believer herself,
Right.
still recognizes the power of Daniel's insight.
So she can sense it.
She senses that he possesses a different kind of knowledge,
Yeah.
a deeper understanding that goes beyond the conventional wisdom of the court.
Do you ever find yourself seeking out people who seem to have that kind of intuitive wisdom?
Oh, all the time?
Even if their beliefs or background are different from your own?
Yeah, I mean, there are certain people who just seem to have a knack for seeing things that others miss,
Right.
for cutting through the noise and getting to the heart of the matter.
It's a gift.
And often, those people aren't necessarily the ones with the most degrees or the highest social standing.
It's something deeper.
It's something deeper than that.
It's that authenticity,
Yeah.
that genuine connection to something beyond themselves.
Right.
And the source really emphasizes this quality in Daniel.
Okay.
So when he's summoned before Belshazzar,
Hmm.
he's immediately offered riches and honor
Of course.
in exchange for interpreting the message.
Okay.
But Daniel refuses.
He refuses.
Yeah, he's not interested.
It's a powerful statement,
It is.
especially in that context.
Surrounded by opulence and desperation.
It really makes you question the motivations behind true service, right?
For sure.
Is it about personal gain
Yeah.
or something more profound?
What's the real motivation?
The source seems to be contrasting Daniel's selflessness with the self-serving motives
Right.
that often drive human behavior,
Yeah, that's often the case.
especially in positions of power.
It's a subtle critique, but it's there.
Yeah, you can definitely see it.
It's inviting us to examine our own hearts.
Our own motivations.
What truly motivates our actions?
Yeah.
Are we driven by ego, by the desire for recognition and reward?
Right.
Or are we willing to put the needs of others before our own,
Huh.
to act with integrity even when there's nothing material to be gained?
These are tough questions.
They are.
But they're important ones.
Absolutely.
It's so easy to get caught up in the pursuit of success, of status,
Right.
of all the things that our culture tells us we should value.
It's what you're supposed to want.
But this story reminds us that true fulfillment, true meaning, often lies in something that's deeper,
Absolutely.
something that transcends the material world.
And before Daniel reveals the meaning of the writing,
Yeah.
he takes a moment to remind Belshazzar of his grandfather's fate.
Oh.
Nebuchadnezzar, once the most powerful king on earth,
Wow.
was humbled and driven to madness until he acknowledged the sovereignty of God.
It's almost like a history lesson,
Yeah, like a warning.
a cautionary tale.
Yeah, to try to wake Belshazzar up to the reality of his situation.
But it seems like Belshazzar,
Yeah.
blinded by his own pride and desperation, is unable or unwilling to heed the warning.
It's a tragic irony, isn't it?
It is.
The source seems to be saying that history often repeats itself when we fail to learn from the past.
Yeah, we see that all the time.
Belshazzar had the benefit of knowing his grandfather's story,
Right.
and yet he chooses to ignore its lessons, to walk the same path of arrogance and defiance.
It really makes you think about the patterns that play out
Yes.
in our own lives, in our families, in our societies.
Are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past?
Right. Or can we somehow break free from these cycles and create a different future?
It's a question worth asking.
The source doesn't offer easy answers,
No.
but it does suggest that self-awareness, humility, and a willingness to learn from the past
Yeah.
are essential if we're to avoid repeating those same mistakes.
For sure.
I know we've been building up to this moment for a while,
I know, the anticipation is killing me.
and I'm eager to hear what the source says about the actual message on the wall.
Let's get to it.
What did those mysterious words, mene, tickle, upharsin, actually mean?
Well, as you can imagine, these words have been interpreted in various ways throughout history.
I bet.
But the source focuses on a particular interpretation
Okay.
that emphasizes the themes we've been discussing: divine judgment, human pride, and the fleeting nature of earthly power.
So let's break down those words.
Okay.
Mene, tekel, upharsin, and their deeper meaning.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So mene means numbered.
Okay.
God has numbered the days of your kingdom and brought it to an end.
So it speaks to the limits of earthly power
Yeah.
and the ultimate authority of a higher power.
Absolutely.
It's a stark reminder, I think, that no matter how powerful we might feel,
Right.
how much wealth or influence we might accumulate,
All that stuff.
our time is ultimately finite.
It is.
Yeah, there's a sense of inevitability to it.
Yeah.
A cosmic clock ticking in the background.
Yeah.
we can't escape it.
And then tekel means weighed.
Weighed,
You have been weighed on the scales and found wanting.
It speaks to the importance of living a life that aligns with our values,
Yeah.
of being accountable for our actions.
It's almost like a spiritual audit,
Yeah, like a check-in.
a moment of reckoning where we're forced to confront the choices we made
Right.
and the impact they've had on ourselves and others.
Exactly.
That makes you think about those moments of self-reflection, those times when we examine our conscience and ask ourselves if we're truly living up to our own ideals.
It's a good practice.
And then finally, Peres, which is related to the word upharsin, means divided.
Divided, okay.
Your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians.
This one speaks to the impermanence of material possessions
Yeah.
and worldly success.
What we build, what we accumulate.
It can all be gone in an instant.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder of the fleeting nature of earthly power
For sure.
and the importance of focusing on what truly matters. What really counts.
Relationships, character, the legacy we leave behind.
The source seems to be emphasizing the importance of detaching ourselves from the material world
Okay.
and finding our security in something more lasting,
Mm-hmm.
something that transcends the ups and downs of fortune and fame.
So even though Belshazzar fulfills his promise and elevates Daniel,
Right.
that very night, Belshazzar is killed,
Oh, wow.
and the kingdom is taken by Darius the Mede,
Just like that.
just as the message foretold.
It's a swift and decisive judgment.
It is.
It's a reminder that our actions have consequences,
Yeah.
and sometimes those consequences come sooner than we expect.
The source doesn't dwell on the violence or the political implications of this event.
No,
It focuses on the spiritual lessons that can be drawn from this story.
the bigger picture.
What are your final takeaways from our deep dive into Daniel chapter 5?
I think it's a powerful reminder of the need for humility,
Humility, yeah.
the importance of recognizing a higher power, and the consequences of ignoring the lessons of history.
Right.
But it also offers hope.
Okay.
Hope that even in the face of, impending doom,
Yeah.
we can choose to act with integrity, to seek wisdom,
Yeah.
to align ourselves with a power greater than ourselves.
I think that's a beautiful sentiment to end on.
It is.
It's not just a story of judgment and destruction.
Right.
It's a story of redemption,
Yeah,
of the possibility of transformation, even in the 11th hour.
absolutely.
It encourages us to, examine our own lives,
Yeah.
to confront our fears and shortcomings,
Uh-huh.
and to seek a path that leads us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe.
Well said.
I think that's it for our deep dive into Daniel chapter 5.
That was a good one.
Thanks for joining us.
It was fun.